Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to my shop. Today I'm going to do some experimentation on a new technique for an upcoming project. A new technique for me at least. My project that's upcoming will be a Greene and Greene style dresser. And Greene and Greene style furniture, the drawer construction is typically a finger joint where the fingers stand proud of the front surface of the drawer. So in the past I've used a table saw and a router to make those fingers, and I'm just looking for something just a little more efficient for me, and we'll do this on the shaper, so I'll put this in the Shaper 101 series. But before I do that, I want to show you the type construction that I'll be looking at. Okay, so this is the drawer out of a nightstand. This is a Daryl Peart design. You may have seen this on some of my other videos. But the finger joints on the drawer stand proud on the front and flush on the side. And I don't know whether you can tell this, but there's these fingers on the front are not as wide as the drawer side, and there's a rabbet or rebate between where the drawer front sits in those slots. And in the past, I've used the table saw to clean this material out, and it can be a bit time consuming. Tousally you'll end up with some little variances there for where the saw blade is, and yeah, you can use a flat tooth blade or a dado, but I generally don't like to put material standing on end up through the saw. It just kind of isn't all that comfortable for me, particularly since the saw guard has to be out of the way to do that. So I'm going to try this on the shaper with an adjustable groover. So let's go there next. Okay, I'm at the shaper now, and basically what I've got here is what can be configured as my largest adjustable groover. And this will go from 31 millimeters up to 60 millimeter width. And this particular cutter is a Zuani. I purchased it from Rangate. And this is a multi-use cutter, so it's got groovers and roundover bits or chamfer bits, however you want it configured, to do a multitude of operations. So it's more than just an adjustable groover. But for the purposes of this video, I've removed the roundover pieces of carbide and the grooving, I think they're 4 or 5 millimeter grooves. But basically this is a two-piece cutter, and you apply shims between them to get the appropriate width. I've cut this sample piece, sized it to 100 millimeters wide, which is nominally 4 inches. And I'm going to use the fence, and I'm going to run it through on edge through the shaper cutter. And this is really called a tenoning table. I'm just going to use tenoning. Normally you'd put the workpiece through like that, and you would cut your tenons that way. But I'm going to be doing it this way to cut the finger joints. But to avoid tear out, I've got this chip breaker, and I'm just going to attach this to the fence. Okay, so I've got the shaper adjusted to make the side cut first. The center of the cutter is set to be the center of the width of my drawer, or the height of my drawer. And since the thickness of the stock is 20 millimeters, and I think I'm just going to shoot to see how this looks, is 5 millimeters proud of that. So I've got the depth of cut set to 25 millimeters, and I've got this clamped to the workpiece. Note that my chip breaker is not set up all the way to the fence. I think I only need the breakout protection for where the cutter exit is cross grain. So I should be okay there. We'll see how it looks. Okay, so I did get a clean exit cut here, and let's see how it was on the width and the centering. The width of my dado, I should have set that for 36 millimeters, and I'm 36.1. 0.1 millimeters is roughly the thickness of a sheet of paper. Split the difference between these, 32.2. I'll just set that to 32 millimeters. That's the height. I want to set that to 32. Yeah, let's just see how close I look here. Now, it may be too tight when I do this, but let's see how it looks. I need to change the depth of my cut to half the thickness, which will be 10. I think what I'm going to do is just cut this end off as a check so that I can test my fit. I expect this fit to be tight, but let's see what we get. Oh man. Well, it wasn't tight, but it wasn't loose either. It was just perfect. Okay. So now what I need to do is to adjust this. Since this is the front, I need to adjust this, and I probably should have cut this longer. What I need to do now is put a rabbit in this all the way back to the tail end, and let's see if I can figure out a way to do this safely. You know, I don't think I can do that safely. What I think I'll do is I'll just go back to the, I'm going to use this, cut the other end off, reset the shaper to make the original cut again, and redo that. Years ago, and I think I'd only been woodworking about 3 years, I went to the wood shop at Fort Eustis in Virginia, and they had a mandatory safety class before you were allowed to use the wood shop. And the instructor said something that stuck with me that's proven true over the years of woodworking that I've done, is that every woodworking accident starts with a small piece of wood. And that was just too small for me, particularly with this large cutter whipping around at 8,000 RPM. So let me set this thing up again, and we'll do the opposite end of that and then trim it. Okay, so I've recut this on the opposite end, and now what I want to do is create the rebate such that this other workpiece will fit in. So, see if I can do a better job on that one. Okay, so the rebate on this, I need to go as deep as this side cut, but I need to go half the thickness of this, so that should be, let me see here. It's 20 millimeters, so I want to put that down to 10, which is half of 20. Okay, so this is clamped securely now. Okay, I've cut this workpiece in half at the table saw, and let's just see how the fit up is. Oh wow. Flush at the top and bottom. One of the things I was concerned about, particularly on the front, was the scoring cutters there, you know, leaving little, how to describe them. I call them Batman ears, and I'm not seeing, I know they're there, but they're so imperceptible that I really can't tell they're there. I've got the finger here extending just ever so proud from the side, less than, looks like about 3 sheets of paper or so. Looks like I've got a little gap here. I'm not sure whether that just may be the wood or whatever kind of bowing and twisting up on me. This is just inexpensive pallet wood from a shipping crate. But I think this is going to work well. So anyway, I'm actually surprised at how well this fit up did occur first time out of the gate. But I do thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this technique. I think this experiment is a good to go. So I think you're going to be seeing more of this when I build the Greene and Greene dresser. Thanks for watching.